Jeremy Lee.
What is playing in the background?
Oh, it's that one. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, we're ready. I didn't realize that another
Do
button
not
got
edit
hit.
this out.
Oh no, we're live.
This is
Everybody's
live
watching right
so
now.
they're seeing the
Hey everybody, we're getting going
Good
here.
evening.
The interactings of everything happening.
Check, mic check. You there, Jeremy?
Oh, Risky, what is up, man? I cannot wait to get to the tour stop this week. Phil, oh my goodness, and of course, another great guest on the podcast.
I know. Well, I'm ready to go if you are.
Let's do it.
All right. This is Golf Nation, the show that brings you interviews with the best and brightest people in the industry. Join us for a round as we learn about their life, business, and so much more. Golf isn't just about playing the game, it's about connecting with others and getting away from our everyday lives. Now here's your host and the CEO of GolfCritique.com, Jeremy Lee.
Golf Nation, we are back, and you are listening to episode 38 of the Golf Nation podcast, brought to you by none other than GolfCritique.com, the best search engine in golf. Risky, we had a pretty awesome day today.
We did have a great day today.
We saw 7 or 8 different golf courses here in South Carolina. And for you South Carolinians, man, if you haven't been on GolfCritique.com, you've got to check it out. Do you know that as a free member, you can literally go to our site and book on any course, public or semi-private, that has a booking engine right there from GolfCritique.com.
It's that easy.
Yeah. Find instruction.
Yep.
Find trips, find all kinds of good things. Just an absolutely incredible site. So make sure you check out golfcritique.com and book your next round on that. Don't forget, we got a big $25,000 giveaway as well. And so make sure you see what is happening with that, with Brian Urlacher in the Pinehurst area coming up. So our guest today has worked all over the world, including Austria, England, Germany. Then he came to the U.S. where he began in Florida at the David Ledbetter Academy for Junior Development and is now in beautiful Hilton Head, South Carolina at the G2 Academy, where we are coming to you today from their headquarters here in the amazing Old Town Bluffton. He turned pro in his early 20s, but he decided that, hey, I'd rather shift my focus towards guiding others towards their own success. Currently the director of golf performance at the G2 Academy and works closely with each of his players on long-term development and performance. Today, we're talking junior golf performance and specifically focusing on teaching young women to excel and play their best. Please help me welcome British PGA professional, Mr. Dan Jackson. Dan, how are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, man, great to have you. And just, I mean, when you're not from the U.S., you just sound better than us.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the accent makes me sound smarter than I am. So, yeah,
I don't
it definitely
know.
stands out.
You're a pretty smart guy. I wouldn't say it makes you
Yeah.
sound smarter than you are.
Exactly. They just get all the women. That's the way it works.
Yeah, the smooth talkers.
That's right.
It definitely stands out for sure. I've got to admit.
Yeah.
It definitely stands out. Yeah,
Well,
for sure. But guys, welcome to Bluffton. I'm glad
Yeah.
you
Thank
guys
you.
made it down here. My
No,
goodness. You guys have-
fantastic. Just a beautiful area. I love where your office is. This is a really intense, really cool area.
Yeah, so we're located in Old Town Bluffton. It's like one of the a thriving area just off of Hilton Head Island. Lots of charm, lots of southern charm, should I say.
Sure.
Beautiful nature beside the river and the Atlantic Ocean as well. And we've got a load of great golf courses as
Yeah.
well. So
No, lots of them.
it's beautiful. It's a great area to live and it's a great area to work and also bring up my family as well.
Oh, yeah,
is great.
absolutely. Well, we're definitely going to get into all things about you and how, your journey in golf and obviously with G2 Academy. But man, we got to start off.
What a
Ooh,
crazy week.
crazy. We got Phil
Yeah.
going to PGA Tour Champions.
That is impressive. Yeah.
He looks good out there, honestly.
As he should.
He's always looked good. And
Yeah.
Now he's gone to the older division, should we say, and he's just looking great.
Him
Yeah,
and
he
his
really is.
coffee that he promotes now.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen that mixture that he does?
I don't think so.
It's like 10 or 15 things.
Really?
Yeah.
I just like the
making
new
him
sunglasses that he's wearing all the time. I think those are sweet. And like props to him. I mean, how many people do you actually see playing with sunglasses on? I feel like that's a pretty difficult thing to do. I mean, at least in my opinion, like it trips me up when I'm wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been around the tour and around the golfing world for 20, 30 years. He's definitely got a style of his own, and he absolutely owns it. It is great to see. He's such a character in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And everyone is drawn to Phil.
Yeah, and it's so funny. He was on his Instagram and he posted, "Yeah, oh man, I've been playing against these guys for years. It's really, great players. Looking forward to getting back out with those guys." And I'm thinking, you just want their money. That's what I put on them comments. I was like, he just wants their money. He's just gonna go take their money as he shoots 10 under par in his first day.
Yeah, 61.
I mean, if these guys continue to drop 61s on the senior tour, they're gonna have to move it back.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen in the previous years, clubhead speeds on the PGA Tour have gradually got faster and faster, and the same on the LPGA Tour. And it's just, and that is transferring over to the seniors now, which is great. These guys are hitting a long way.
Yeah, and technology, and it's Branson, Missouri, so it's up in the mountains a little bit. So I'm sure the ball's flying a little bit further.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I mean, he's just gonna clean house. He's got so many side bets right now. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah,
He
I'm
loves
excited.
him some
I mean,
side money.
I think of the time if Tiger is able to go on there as well, when they're both on that tour, that would just be phenomenal.
I wonder if Tiger's actually gonna do it. Do you think he's gonna do it?
Why wouldn't he?
If he can, he would.
I
I'd
don't know.
imagine.
Yeah, maybe he's just tired of losing.
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. He wants to compete. If he's going on the course, he's going on there to win.
Sure.
And so every time he steps on there, it will just be for the win.
Yeah.
So he'll compete. I'd imagine he would compete as long as he possibly can, and it would be great to see him.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the dynamics of, because we're going to get into the tour and it's just so many young guys coming out. The talent that's coming out right now is just phenomenal. And you look at the leaderboards and you look at, even looking at the top 70, there's so many young talented guys. And then all the guys that we knew growing up are all kind of working their way towards the way out.
They are. And like you said, the depth of quality now on the PGA, it was always extremely challenging. It was always difficult to get on there. But now even more so than ever.
Yes.
That depth has just got deeper and deeper.
Oh.
And there is a million golfers now who could potentially get onto the lower tours and the higher tours. The standard is so high.
I know.
Impressive.
It is. Well, I mean, look at what Dustin did this week.
Yeah.
30 under par.
And winning by 11.
I'm speechless, like literally speechless. Like winning by 11, that's cleaning house. I mean, he didn't even give anybody a chance. 5 eagles is mind-boggling.
It is. And
Yeah.
Winning by 11. I mean, it's almost reminiscent of when Tiger first came on the scene, when he won his first Masters.
Yeah.
Winning by such a large margin really kind of makes a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
to
what
say the least.
Oh yeah.
I especially love how he comes out and posts -30 a week after Brooks Koepka is taking some jabs at him too. I think that's awesome.
Great. It's always good banter, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Always good banter, and then the ability to back it up then just makes it even better.
I know. I tell it all the time, man. I don't care if you got some swag to you, you got some cockiness to you. If you can go out and back it up, I got nothing to say.
But action speed louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you can act upon it, perfect.
Well, Risker, we totally bombed the analysis last week.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. A little bit.
Well, technically, if you think about it, he won by 11. So we weren't really that far off. I forget what Sedgefield winning score was. But Sedgefield is obviously, we were thinking, it's going to be much harder. They're going to pinch the fairways in.
Yeah.
And then Dustin just goes out and just obliterates it.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, DJ, you can't say, I saw Kisner say, when DJ's on, I just move to the side.
Yeah.
And try to make as much money as I can because I know I'm not winning.
Tries to add to his bank account or something along those lines. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's, I don't know. It's just amazing to see the talent that's coming out, and we're going to get into what you're seeing on the girls' side and kind of where that's going. And I think that's an incredible story with the women's British.
Yeah,
is
Sophia Popoff,
a girl who, or a woman, I won't say a girl, a woman who 3 weeks prior was caddying for one of her friends. Wasn't in the field, but I guess there was some openings in the field. She got in, and she goes out and wins the British. And now she doesn't even have exemption. She's going to be the women's British champion.
Yeah.
And doesn't have exemptions into the rest of the majors for the rest of the year. And the field is full from the USGA, from the Women's US Open. So I think that they're trying to decide whether we make a spot or...
It'd be great if they could make a spot, because that type of story is amazing. You know, the ability never to give up, never say never, always keep working forward, always take your opportunities when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's what dreams are made of.
Yeah, and
so she's good for her.
Well, and I had read the story that she had contracted Lyme disease, and she was really struggling. I actually thought about giving up the game because her. I don't know if you know much about Lyme disease, but it's pretty prevalent in North Carolina with all the mountains and the hills. But it does something where it makes your bones ache, your joints ache. And so she just didn't feel like she had that freedom. And she was like, I'm miserable. I'm going to quit the game. And now she's the women's British Open champion.
It's awesome. It's an amazing story. And this is what golf is. This is why golf is so great. And it creates these stories. It makes these stories where people can attain their dreams, attain their goals. They can go from being the underdog to winning the championship.
I know.
It's phenomenal.
It is really phenomenal. And talking about stories, if you haven't been on Golf Hub, which is within golfcritique.com, that is kind of our entertainment side of our business. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what we're just talking about right now. It's just different stories from different people in the industry. We're actually working with, we actually just got an email last night. We're going to be starting working with a Symetra Tour player who we're just going to follow her journey. And she's just going to record and do some vlogging and just talk about how it works going through the tour and the stops she's making, things she does outside it. And then she's going to produce it or send it over to us. We're going to produce it and put it as a new show on Golf Hub. So
that'll be really interesting.
Right? I thought that was a really cool idea.
That's great because that will give younger girls and boys as well the opportunity to see what it takes to be a successful player. It's not just, I've got to win this tournament and this tournament. It's the journey. Mm-hmm. It's the process in which you go about, and you have to build a lot of resilience and grit when you're being a player, when you want to be a player. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see. Yeah,
I am very, very excited about that because I think, one, she played for Clemson, so she comes from a really good school. She's a smart girl. She's working hard. She does all kinds of great things. She does her own newsletter. I mean, she's got so many cool insights that I think she's going to teach a lot of young girls about, hey, this is what it takes to earn money to make it on the tour, because you got to have money to all these stops and what it takes. I mean, you're not making any money in the Symetra Tour.
That's it. I mean, you're really not. A lot of the girls that are on there are working hard. They're either got sponsors behind them, or they really have to nickel and dime everything to try and make their dreams reality. So that will be really interesting to see. I know. That really will be. Yeah, very, very, I'm very, very excited about it, but... Yeah, as am I. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of work to do, buddy. Yeah, I know. I love how it just keeps adding up for me all the time. It's great. It makes it so fun. I know it. Well, how about Scotty Scheffler? That could have been the quietest 59 in tour history. Under the radar. Extremely. And we still don't talk about it. No. Okay, everyone's talking about Dustin. I know. 27 on the front. And I feel bad for Scotty because I'm like, you just did what? Maybe this is the fifth one now? Fifth or sixth? It's really come on lately. I mean, it was forever before we saw one, and then we've seen like 5 in the last. We have, and it's been great watching them. Great watching them come about. But like you say, this one hasn't had too much coverage. I think, like you say, just everything's just been a little bit shadowed. Well, I think they thought DJ could have went 56. If he would have had a good back nine, it would be silly. It would have been silly. It would have been like a par 3 course. Yeah. I mean, no, seriously, that's the averages. If you average the score, it's like 3.27 shots per hole or something like that.
That's I don't even know what to say to that. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Congratulations, DJ. That's what we say. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I was watching.
Good on you, sir.
Yeah, and I was watching some of his highlights. It looked like he was turning and burning. Like he looked different to me. It wasn't like, I mean, he's always swung the club hard, but it looked like he was trying to DeChambeau it. Like
yeah,
he was
I actually
trying to-
noticed that myself as well.
It
He
just
was
seemed
really
different.
turning his belt and getting his elbow into his hip, and
Yeah,
it was wild. Yeah,
he seemed to be putting a little bit extra effort in this week, and he was on point. I guess when you're feeling good and you're slamming these birdies every 5 eagles, geez.
This is it. And when these guys are, in the zone, so to speak, these guys can go so low. Especially with players like DJ or Koepka or DeChambeau. It's, they hit it so far that no course is really safe. Every course is scoreable. They can go really, really low. So tied in with long drive, distance, and then great short games. It's a dangerous combination. Hence 30 under par, which was it was the lowest score.
Yeah, lowest
Ever?
score.
I think second
Tournament?
lowest.
Oh,
Second
it was.
lowest.
So you were right. Second lowest, but
yeah,
lowest in
lowest
holes.
9-hole to par
Yeah,
with a 27.
27.
Yeah.
Whew, crazy.
Minus
Which,
9.
Didn't Furyk have a 57 at Hartford one year?
Was it 57 or 58?
Maybe, yeah.
It could have been. I'd have to check on that one.
58. Maybe it was a 58, but it was definitely lower. But our picks this week, we didn't do too bad.
No, I didn't do too bad, and I have to give a shout out to Kevin Thistle for this one. Last week he gave us his picks, obviously.
Yeah.
And I took his advice, and I bet on both of the picks that he did, as well as my own. And he ended up saving me. Yeah, so he actually ended up saving me because I put on Kisner.
Yeah, he picked
so,
Kisner.
Kisner, what was Kisner?
He was fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, tied 4. But of course, my good friend Tony, that I always bet with, picks Burger. So, or Burger. Yeah.
Danny Berger.
So yeah, he
Did pitch.
squeaks me by 1 stroke. I'm like, and it was after the rain delay, right? He
Yeah.
got back on there and birdied like 1. I think he had 2 holes left, or maybe 1, and he birdied it and beats out Kisner by 1. I was like, you gotta be kidding me! I was so mad. And I was like,
That's when you get on their Instagram and go like, really, Burger? Please, really? Really?
Yeah. It cost me $100.
Literally, it cost me $100 right there.
Well, I picked Rose to kind of come back. He had a terrible week in North Carolina, so I thought, man, he's going to recover. He did okay, 25th. He was 11 under. Unfortunately, Kevin's pick at Adam Hadwin, his other missed the cut, his Canadian boy. So if you don't know Kevin Thistle, he's the CEO of the PGA of Canada. He was on last week, so he was definitely picking a Canadian to be in there.
Yeah.
Wolf did pretty good. He was much better in the early rounds.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to fare pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna keep it going,
And then just kind of puttered out.
Yep.
And then Poulter, we talked about Poulter a little bit. He did 39th, so we were middle of the road. We didn't do great. Really, our analysis wasn't that great last week. We didn't do so well.
I mean, how many sports analysts that actually get paid for that stuff get it wrong every single time? So,
Often.
yeah, nobody ever is like, you got it wrong.
What? No. But Morikawa, that was I mean...
Yeah, that's kind of surprising.
I thought that was surprising.
Where did Morikawa finish?
He missed the cut,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is surprising because he's been playing so well.
He's been very consistent recently, for sure.
Yeah, and this obviously seemed to be a gettable golf course, but maybe it's the whole bent grass. He's not used to the cool season grasses. He's from California.
Yeah, I think you were right on the analysis of that.
Yeah, because look,
That
I mean, if you think about it,
California
look at
boy would
Wolf.
do well.
I mean, he started off good, but then but then I thought, oh man, maybe I'm wrong on that because I think Wolf's first win was up in Travelers in Connecticut.
Yep.
So I was thinking, oh well, that's definitely a cool season. So I don't know, but it was. Hopefully he'll bounce back this week. He's definitely doing good. We got definitely a different week this week.
Yes.
So this week we're going to the Bmw Championship, right, Risky?
Correct.
To Olympia Fields North Course.
Yep.
And what have they hosted there?
A few things. 2 U.S. Opens, 2 PGA Championships, 5 Western Opens, 1 U.S. Amateur Championship, and a U.S. Senior Open as well. So quite a few things.
You don't get that kind of lineup without it being a much more difficult golf course.
I mean, notable winners that have hoisted trophies there too. Jack Nicklaus, Walter Hagen, Jim Furyk, all have won on that property as well.
Yeah.
So
it's a good place to play then.
Yeah. So we may be a bit better on the analysis this week. Now, Justin Thomas won in 2019, and that was a score of 2,500, but it was at Medina. So they are moving the location for this year. But check this rating out, 76.6 on a par 70 at 7,300 yards.
Brutal.
So that's pretty tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
This week was 7,200. That's why I thought, man, rough's up. But those fairways were pretty wide. They didn't pinch those fairways in this week. I was pretty like, wow, that's pretty wide.
Wide enough for DJ to go for 30 under. So, I mean, if he's got a little, that's it. You get these guys a little bit of freedom, and especially with the bombers, the guys that hit it so far. If they've got, if the fairway's 30 yards wide, and they can get it down there and send it, they're going to send it all day long.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, we got a pretty exciting top 70. We got some notables again in the field. We got DJ, obviously. DeChambeau.
Yep, he's there.
Look out for him this week because he's the 2015 U.S. Amateur winner on this golf course.
Yep.
Course knowledge.
That's a pretty good feeling.
And I'd say he has a bone to pick after last week, too.
Yeah, probably because he missed the cut, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to be looking to come back for sure.
And Berger, Berger has just been so consistent this year. He just came out of left field. He must have been practicing hard during COVID.
Yeah, with all these guys, they've had so much time off and quiet periods of time where they've been able to just practice and work hard. And some of these guys have kind of flown under the radar. I mean, you look at the, Noren, John Rahm, all in the top 10, Higgs, Henley, Palmer. There's some names that aren't as notable with Higgs and Henley and Palmer, but these guys are doing good. They're playing some great golf. Some of their scores are crazy.
Yeah, and so I want to see, so surprisingly, so Tiger's at 57 in the FedEx. So we're trying to figure out who's going to be the guy who doesn't make it to the Tour Championship. So we got Wolf at 33. We got Matsuyama at 18. We got Adam Scott at 38. But Adam Scott is actually number 9 in the world right now. Did you know that?
I didn't think he, with all due respect, I didn't think he was that high currently.
We were shocked. I
was thinking definitely top 20, but I didn't think it was in the top 10 at the moment.
So 38. So I don't know. I don't think Tigers make it to the Tour Championship to defend.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
57. I think I'm going to call that.
All right. You heard it here first, everybody.
That is on air. That is making a statement.
That's live.
I mean, that's 27 spots just to get in with the talent that's out there right now. Morkow's at 5. I don't think he's going to have a bad week. Webb Simpson has been steady Eddie.
Yeah.
He has become just the go-to guy. If you want somebody for picking, Webb Simpson. He has been about as consistent as anybody out there.
Yeah. Agreed.
Your guy Rahm, definitely number 9. I don't think he's getting out.
Yeah.
Thomas is number 2. So sorry, Tiger, I love you, man, but I think it's not going to be a repeat of last year.
Well, if Tiger sees the podcast and he uses that as fuel to fire him,
podcast.
and he uses this as fuel to ignite it,
we're getting the fist.
Go for it.
We're getting the fist.
If somebody can get this in front of Tiger, please. I will pay them money for Tiger to talk to Jeremy.
Oh, that would be awesome. Hey, I would let him. If he ever wants to talk to me, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We'll just listen.
That's right.
All right.
Risky, any bets for you this week?
Dude, I mean, I'm kind of liking Harris English right now.
What?
I don't know. He just coming out of nowhere like that. I like those kinds of people, who are just like
you think
surprising.
He's just in a little groove. He's gonna.
Yeah, we'll see.
Continue it on.
Don't take my word for it, anybody, please. But
Yeah, I mean, he came out on the field. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't heard his name in a long time, and all of a sudden he's at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. I like taking the long shots to win some money. That's,
Yeah, he's got to be 80-1, I would say.
Yeah, I would say he's up there
Yeah,
for sure.
I haven't actually looked it up yet, but I'm planning on it.
it's pretty high, I'm sure.
I remember a few years ago, some of the coaches I was working with when I was down in Florida, we'd get together and we had a bit of a Masters pool going.
Right.
And it was when Danny Willett won, and I had Danny Willett. And just because I was supporting the Englishman, gunning for him, and he pulled it off, and it was
Oh my gosh.
wonderful.
Do I have to go on my mirror?
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about Morikawa this week.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Not another episode in a row, please.
All right, let's move on. We want to talk G2 Academy.
Yeah, let's
but
get
I
into
wanna
G2.
learn a little bit before we jump into what you're doing here, which is so amazing. I think it's for anybody out there that has young girls that are trying to aspire to be amazing players. I'm just really excited to talk to you about what you're doing here. I think this is a phenomenal program, especially as a dad of all the girls.
Yep.
I am all for it. But I want to learn a little bit about you and kind of what your journey was to get to this point in your career.
Sure. So I obviously started playing golf when I was, I think it was 7, when I started playing with my dad and my brother back in England. So I played multiple sports as I was growing up. I played, a lot of basketball, soccer, cricket, golf, and tennis, and then gradually narrowed those down to turn pro at 20. And then it was probably an aspect of my father, actually, because my dad is he loves to help people. He loves to, when he helps people, he feels very good within himself. He's a good businessman, but he will do anything for anybody. And that kind of rubbed off on me a lot, and I got a lot of satisfaction and enjoyment from helping other people. So when I turned pro, there was, a lot of respect has got to be given to these guys that make it to the top, the sacrifices they make, how much work they put into their game is truly phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So whenever they're playing, if they miss the cut, it's a learning experience. They learn, they keep going through their process, and they move on to the next tournament. For me, I was more pulled towards the coaching for the helping aspect. Mm-hmm. And I was very, very fortunate from a younger age to work with some very, very good coaches. And they helped to form my ethos, my drive, and why I do the way that I do things. So I initially worked with a guy called Gary Alice, whose father, Peter, was a former Ryder Cup player.
Yeah.
So he was an England coach at the time. And, I worked with him, and then I started to shadow him and just his demeanor and how he went about things, very calm, very collected. Mm-hmm. Really, gave me part of the jigsaw that is coaching. And then I was really fortunate to then hook up with David Ledbetter in Austria. So I was in Austria for a few years, initially in the southern part of Austria, at a place called Bad Tasmansdorf. Where I got to work with a lot of great players. Actually, Bernd Wiesberger, who on the European Tour and former Ryder Cup player, mm-hmm. Is actually from Bad Tasmansdorf. And before he made it, he would be hitting balls on the range and just be chatting with him. And then he went to work with a gentleman called Philipp de Bruscher, and I was also partly in Germany. And then I would come backwards and forwards. I'd have the summer in Austria, and then the winter I would come across to America. And,
tough life you got there.
Yeah, it was pretty. It got even worse when I started living in the Austrian Alps. So I was actually in the Alps near Innsbruck.
Oh yeah.
Just living in the Austrian
Gosh,
Alps.
that's horrible.
It was tough. Somebody had to do it, so I put my hand up and I said I would do it. So I've been very fortunate with my wife and I to live where we've lived, and then to meet the people that we've met along the way. So I would do half the year in Austria, half the year in America. And then I was asked to come across and work at David's junior headquarters in Florida, which was an absolute yes from the moment I was asked. And then, I got to work with amazing coaches, amazing people, mm-hmm. and some great players as well. I was able to shadow coaches working with people like Paula Creamer. C.T. Pan was also a
mm-hmm.
former player there. So Pan used to work with a gentleman called David Whelan. So I used to watched David teach Pan. And then moved up to South Carolina probably about 3 or 4 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously now I've got the opportunity to work at the G2.
Right.
And as a father of daughters as well, of twin girls, having those girls is, having children really teaches you a lot.
Right.
So it's not about being a parent and teaching our daughters or our sons. It's, a lot of the time I always think that they're actually teaching us more patience. And,
Sure.
how we go about dealing with them and stuff like that. So being part of the G2 has been an amazing process.
Mm-hmm.
We have an amazing program. We work really closely with the girls that we have, and we do everything as thoroughly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big advocate of gathering data and gathering information, so that can then help to form a game plan and a training plan that we then move forward. So we gather a lot of stats on the girls in relation to their scores on the golf course, so we can see directly where they're losing out on shots or where they could gain shots.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to what they do on the PGA Tour. The amounts of stats that are on the PGA Tour, it's unbelievable. So we slowly gather information for the girls, and then we can personalize their training very, very specifically to, when they're on the golf course, they can play to their strengths, and when they've got weaknesses, they work on their weaknesses to try and overcome any, bogeys or double bogeys that they may make. So it's really an all-encompassing program that we currently operate here.
Yeah, that's really great. And I want to talk about technology, but before that, I wanted to, from your perspective of working with junior development, specifically girls, for parents out there that, maybe have somebody that one of their kids want to get into golf, how early do you think that they should get into getting them in front of a teacher and getting them to learn the game?
I mean, with any sport, really, the earlier the better in relation to getting them active. So not specifically, if a young girl comes or a young boy was to play, it's a matter of saying if they want to play, let them play, but let them play multiple sports as well.
Okay.
Because in multiple sports, there is a lot of transferable skills. So you look at someone like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was arguably one of the greatest players ever to have played the game. But when he was 11 or 12, he wanted to play baseball.
Right.
So giving them an opportunity as a parent is the biggest thing. Giving them an opportunity to be with a coach or with friends playing on a golf course or being in the environment and seeing if they like it. Not forcing them because the parent wants it, but allowing them to choose is one of the biggest things.
Sure.
And again, that's coming from a coach's perspective, but also from a parent's perspective.
Yeah.
I think the best thing that we can give our children is the opportunity.
Yeah.
And
it's hard as a parent because you see so much potential in them that you're like, oh, if I would have had that potential. And then so you kind of move that onto them and try to push them a little bit. But it is sometimes hard as a parent to kind of let them have their own choice.
It is, and that's where as a parent you've got to be able to stand back and think, okay, I'm going to give this an opportunity. If they take it, amazing.
Right.
In my experiences, I've seen a lot of good things, and I've also seen some things that, really could have been done differently with an individual from a parent's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And those players tend to kind of sometimes go out of golf and they go into another sport.
Sure.
Sometimes much to the frustration of the parent.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they're very vocal on a golf course.
I've seen that too.
And at the end of, when I'm working with players, I also want to see how parents interact with their players. Mm-hmm. Because, it's not just a coach, one person team. We have a team of players. Sorry, a player has a team of people around them. Mm-hmm. And it's a support network. So it's family, siblings, friends, coaches, mental strength and conditioning coaches, whatever it may be, school teachers. Everyone plays their role in being able to support a student athlete.
Sure.
So I think that the role of a parent, the role of a coach is support, guidance.
Sure.
But just giving them the opportunity to do what they want to do. And if they choose golf, fantastic.
Do you think there's any time that tough love is ever required on the course?
Is tough love ever required?
Or does it always need to be a supporting
role? It needs to be supporting. It needs to be positive. It can't be, screaming at a child, or, if they make a bogey, turning away. And because players look at, especially young adolescents, young girls, young boys, they look towards their family, towards their support network as guidance, as a support mechanism.
Right.
So if they miss a bogey putt, it's not the end of the world.
Sure.
But in experience-wise, I've seen parents just walk off in a huff, and you can see the body language of the player
Changes.
Their shoulders drop, the head goes down, and
almost like you're disappointing the parent more than you actually care about the score.
Correct. And then it's more difficult then for a young adolescent mind to, tough love, or can they get their mind back in place? Probably not, because they feel like they're kind of letting their parents down. So for me, as a parent and as a coach, it's always positive support, positive guidance. If something goes wrong, learn from the mistake.
Sure.
How can you recover from the mistake? What do you learn from it? What do you take from it? The biggest lessons we learn are by the things that we do badly, not by the things we do well.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, and that's in life itself. That's
Correct.
in business.
Correct.
You have a lot of failures in business, but all the failures make you, you learn something from each of those to where you one day have success.
Correct.
And it's the same thing that golf teaches. It's all about, you have failure after failure after failure, and it turns into success, and then it gets better success, and then you obviously reap the rewards.
That's it. You learn to deal with situations. It's like when you've got small children, that are 18 months old or a year old, and if you put the cooker on or the oven, and you tell them don't touch it, it's hot, or a fireplace, you may tell them 3 or 4 times, but they're always going to want to touch it, and then only learn by the action.
Right.
So, and it's the same as they get older. You say to them, don't miss it on the high, don't miss it on the low side. Well, they're going to miss it on the low side, then they'll miss the one coming back because it's low side and gone too far past. So,
sure.
For a parent to embrace the mistakes and then say, okay, what can we learn from them? Be constructive. And that will really help to support the development of a junior golfer.
Sure.
And it keeps them more interested in the game. It keeps them playing. It keeps their engagement higher. And really just trying to be as positive as you can.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, it's hard as parents. I mean, you just have higher expectations for your kids than you do other kids.
Right.
So trying to hold that back, I still believe maybe you've got to figure out some sort of line when the child is reacting to his own mistakes at some point.
Right.
That's where I find it difficult, where it's their actions that bother me and not their performance.
Yeah.
So how we got to reel that in and try to get them to control.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
if you see a junior player, or any player really, if they hit a bad shot and then there's a big club throw, right? Or there's the kick of the golf bag, that absolutely cannot be.
Sure.
Because again, it triggers the brain to acknowledge that motion. If you're able, this is what the top players are so great at. Hit a bad shot, they're able to switch off quite quickly and forget about it. A lot of people dwell on the past and they keep bringing it up. Well, learn as a mistake and move forward. How we bounce back is very telling in terms of our character.
Sure. Risky, you do any club throwing?
No, not that I can remember. I mean, actually, one time, a long time ago, I got really bad sweaty hands, and I was no glove
classic.
out on the range.
Sweaty hand.
Yep, and I really tried to full on bomb it and just goodbye.
Well, we're not saying the
Up
slip.
in the
We're
woods.
talking about actually.
Yeah, no.
No, you didn't give it. You didn't give it a hammer throw.
I accidentally
I
threw
cannot
it.
say that. I cannot say I haven't broken a club. The better you get, the more
You've
frustrating.
broken a club? Snap over your knee?
Have
Broken
you
a
ever
club?
broken a club?
In all honesty, no. I haven't. No, I haven't.
broken a
He was
couple.
looking to you for the...
He was
I
saying,
was looking for
"Save me."
validation.
Yeah, the validations. Please validate my anger management
Hey, even
issues.
Jack Nicklaus said there's a tree on every course that could use a little whipping.
Well, so how do you create this appropriate environment for your junior golfers?
So for the girls, it's the female brain and the male brain are very, very, very different. So for girls, it's a matter of creating a really nurturing environment, boys are much more, independent and competitive, and they really want to, go head-to-head type motion. Generally speaking, the female brain prefers a little bit more of that nurturing environment. So, working together as a team to complete a task, working together as a team to complete a difficult challenge, and then also having the individual aspects in there as well. But being able to sit down with them, when we're on the range, everything is really, really personal.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not just a matter of standing on the range for 6 hours and beating golf balls, or 5 hours, whatever it may be. It's a matter of saying, okay, let's work on the individual, not just the player, but the individual, the character of the individual. So sometimes if they come to training and it's, it's something to do with school, then it's a matter of sitting down with them and discussing with them what's going off at school, what's not going to allow them to engage in practice, trying to sort through that, trying to discuss through that, and then they're in a better position to then start to engage in what we need them to do,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's working on technical motion with the swing, on course management, putting, on use of technology, whatever it may be. But it's all about creating a nurturing environment. And one of the best ways to create a nurturing environment is to create more of a family environment. When you're in a family environment, then, and it's supportive, it's going to be much more beneficial for
Sure.
the girl. So with some of the girls that we have here, they come from South Korea. We have one girl from South Korea who is one of the best players in the US, and she is, 4,500, 5,000 miles away from home. So, it's 16, 15, 16, 17, which is what, the girls that we have here. And we've got one from Mexico as well, and we've got one coming in from Dubai. For me as a coach, for me as a father, his primary role is to make them feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and to let them know that everything that we do as a team here, with the other coaches, with the mental performance coach, with our strength and conditioning coach, and with the rest of the team, is we are here solely for you. We are going to do everything we can, and we're going to give you all the opportunities we possibly can and open as many doors for you as possible. So when they first come, it's, okay, what would you like to achieve? What are your dreams? Okay, if the dream is to play on an LPGA, okay, let's have that as the end goal, and let's work our way and work a plan into terms of how we are going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And something that is measurable, so that if we need to tweak something, we can tweak it. So it's really going through that individualized and, like I say, that nurturing environment with the girls, which creates a wonderful environment for learning and development. So, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
with G2, so strictly girls.
Strictly girls, only girls.
Only girls are allowed in the G2 Academy here.
Correct.
Is there any boy academy equivalent to that?
No.
With your company, but
No.
obviously Ledbetter has their academies that are.
So yeah, every other academy is mixed, with boys and girls, which is great.
But you
And
just stuck with girls.
So we've really just focused on girls. So there's less distractions.
Mhm.
Obviously, teenage years, it can be very distracting.
Poor kids.
But what they do is, when the girls come here, we have them obviously at school as well, and they get that interaction when they're at school.
Sure.
But within training, within program, and within, when they're doing their strength and conditioning, it's all girls. So there's no need for, like I say, distractions. There's no need to worry about what one person says or what one other person says. It's very, very focused. It's, again, very nurturing, very family orientated, and they have that cohesion of the relationships that they're building with each other.
Sure.
And it really is, there's been a big difference that I've seen between an all-girls academy like here at G2 and a mixed academy.
I could see that because just the distraction alone, or just the camaraderie, or
Huge.
girls are fighting against the same boy that they like, or
Exactly. Exactly. And, that's one of the major aspects. There are, a few other smaller things, but that does play a big role in it. So, we know that when the girls come back from school, they know what the training program is going to be like. They know the individualized training that they have. They know what they need to do, and they're very, very focused. And when they come, we get together, we discuss what's going to be taking place for the day, and then they can go to the areas that they need to work on. And it's based off of all the data, like I said, that we collect, and it's just helps to guide them so much easier.
Yeah, I can see how you can build very close relationships with these students for a long time, because I mean it's a boarding academy, right?
So yeah, it's a boarding academy. The girls live in one house with a house parent who does a wonderful job of looking after the girls and cooking for them and really being a parent to them, really being a mom. And it is, my two girls, I'll take my girls around to their house, and they'll all play together. My daughter's a 6.
Yep.
And with the girls that we've got 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds.
Right.
And they all just have a great time.
Yeah.
And it's that environment of a family, of a supportive family. That's what they need. So it's a really pivotal component of their development.
So parents who are looking to bring their children to your academy, could you give us an example of a typical day of what a young girl would go through from school? Even like a school day. A school day.
So normally in the morning they have a choice of a couple of schools in the area, in the Hilton Head area, that they can go to. Both very, very good schools. So they would normally start off with school in the morning. And then in the afternoon, they would then make their way to training. Training can be 3 to 4 hours in length.
Okay.
I don't want to make it too long, because you start to lose concentration and distractions, and the girls have got other things. They've got to learn to balance their lives. So they'll come to golf for 3 to 4 hours. And within those 3 to 4 hours, we'll work on a variety of different areas specific to the individual needs of the player. And then every time they walk off the range, I'm always saying to them, every time they're on the range, they've got to walk off having learnt something. If it's just a basic concept, a technical motion, a particular shot, or something about themselves in relation to how well they can concentrate, how well can they commit to a certain process. So every time that they're able to walk off the range, feel a sense of accomplishment.
Sure.
So they'll train for 3 to 4 hours. They'll go back home, have a little bit of a rest for maybe an hour, and then they have gym sessions in the evenings as well, 3 times a week.
Very nice.
So, and that's probably much where I'll be going after this, just to make sure the girls are doing their training and their workout session and making sure everything's okay. They had a mental session today as well. So we cover all different areas: mental, physical, technical aspects, course management, college prep as well. We got a lot of contact with college coaches over the US, and we try and place them in as good a program as possible that is specifically fit for them, for that individual. So yeah, it's really a fantastic program and a great opportunity to give any daughter, for sure.
Yeah, and so do you? Is there a certain level of a certain level of player that needs to be before they would go to an academy like yours?
No. Basically no. So any level of golfer, if you're just starting out, if you're a 90 shooter or a 100 shooter, it's just about getting better as a player. So if we've got a player that shoots in the 60s regularly, her scoring average is.
And how old is this girl?
She's just turned 17.
And phenomenal.
Wonderful player, wonderful human being. And that's one of the biggest components is teaching the person, not just the player. So if we can help people to look at the world objectively, understand, be critical thinkers, be able to, be very compassionate.
Sure.
Then they're going to be very good players, but also maintain obviously an element of wanting to go out on the golf course and shoot as low as possible.
Right. Because those scores keep getting lower and lower.
Yeah, that's it. And it's guiding them through this challenge that is golf. Golf is very cyclical. It's, sometimes you'll play well, sometimes you'll play not so well. And there could be many factors that play a part in not producing the score. Some aspects you can see, some aspects you can't see. It may be technical, may not be. There may be something on your mind whilst you're on the golf course. You're not able to commit yourself. So we try and train everybody. We train everybody individually, but we try and train them to what they need at the time as well. So it's very fluent and it's very changeable. So it's very dynamic at the same time.
So I assume that's where kind of technology comes in, and it affects your coaching, affects the players, because you're really trying to dial it in.
Correct.
To that specific player. Does that go all the way through fittings and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use technology a lot in relation to giving us, again, measurable data and something that the girls can be educated in. If I'm standing there with a TrackMan and, there's over 30 tiles on this, I don't want to teach them 30 different types of number. I want to teach them very specific numbers in relation to their golf game. But it helps to give direction and it helps to give clarity. So, and it takes out any guesswork as well. I don't just stand there on the back of the range leaning on a club saying, that's a good shot.
Right.
I want to say, okay, if the path is 4 degrees out to the right and she's struggling with a strong draw and she wants to minimize it by 3 or 4 yards, then, we talk about what factors affect the ball flight, what physics go through the golf ball. And then within the swing, where does it cause the path to go so far to the right? And how we go about changing that. And then we measure it. So we make a little swing change, we check it, and we see if it's validated. And if it is, then we know we're moving in the right direction. Like I say, it takes out any opinion. So it's not my opinion. It's looking at, this is the information. Okay, let's go about it this way. This is, we need to change this. Let's change that, and hopefully we'll see this. And when we do, there's buy-in from the player. The player sees the improvements and sees it and starts to accept it. One of the biggest challenges in coaching is getting your player to buy into the change. Is to say, okay, if we need to improve your posture, let's say they've got the chest too far down and they're not able to get too much rotation in the torso, then we're going to try and change posture to improve that motion, and it may give us a higher club head speed, for example.
Sure.
And if they see that and they see it on the screen and there's no questioning it, then it's going to be a lot quicker change.
Yeah, I mean, when you're seeing the numbers and then you slightly change the numbers and then your numbers increase.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to dispute that, and I think that's something mentally being like, oh, well, that makes sense, because we both know that what you feel and what is actually happening is completely two different things.
Yeah, feel and real can be very different things. And sometimes a feel to get a certain position can be very much over-exaggerated to try and get them into a better position. And I was working with somebody the other day and they were saying, I feel like I'm here, and they were nowhere near that position. And every coach has obviously seen this as well, and they can probably give 1,000 examples. So it's really trying to give them the feedback. So, I'll use a particular app as well that will give instant feedback. So can I drop a...
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's an app called Mirror Vision.
I've seen Mirror Vision. I love Mirror Vision.
It's a great app. I don't have any affiliation with them or anything like that, but I've been using that app for, a couple of years now. And just to be able to put it down the line with my phone and then put an iPad down on the ground where the player can see in
and
posture.
Let them see where their positions
and they can just look straight down there and they know exactly what's happening, and then I tie it in with a TrackMan to give the definitive numbers. It's undeniable.
Sure.
So I like evidence. I like learning about things. But I like evidence and facts because it just gives clarity.
Yeah, and I think the biggest place where Mirror Vision really works is at the top of the swing.
Yeah.
Because where you think you're down the line,
yeah,
and you're nowhere clear, you're across the line bad, and then you're coming from the inside, and it's just a big mess. So that's
it. And the use of the technology is great. And then you look at what the latest technology, like a swing cat, gives us. The force, 3 forces of horizontal, rotational, and vertical forces, and how to develop speed and power.
Right.
And that's why a lot of the guys on the tour and the girls on the tour are hitting the ball further and further. They're using the ground so much better. So with up-and-coming golfers, we've got to give them this knowledge to raise their, the terminology people use is golfing IQ. We've got to give them the knowledge so that they can make better decisions and they can have a better understanding of what is actually happening within their golf swing.
Sure.
So for me, as a coach, knowledge is important for me, but it enables me to help my players better. So the more I learn, the better I can help my players. And it's never about me as a coach. It's always about the player.
Yeah, and
Hugely.
And Risky was talking about that too. Like he met with you for the first time up in Pinehurst when you were playing the Peggy Kirkbell tour.
Yeah, it was the Peggy Kirkbell Championship, and one of our girls won it.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and that's what he was talking about. He was just like, you were just so into making sure that they were successful, and that's what he loved most about you. That he was just like all about them, and I think that's really important as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important sometimes, to help people. It's you put your own ego aside. I'm not saying I have an ego. I don't. But put an ego aside.
You're like the calmest person on the planet. I can tell why you work well with girls.
Yeah, I mean, you should. Everything he said before about nurturing, I'm like replaying when I was with you at the Pine Needles, and I'm like, yep, he's exactly right. I mean, your interactions with June. Sorry if I'm not allowed to say her name, but it's like, I don't know. It's incredible. It's a way different
I need
energy.
to learn a lot from that.
It's a different energy than like true just instructor player.
Yep.
Like you're right. It is very nurturing the way that you were like making sure she had something to eat.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. You can expand on that more.
Yeah, it's because I genuinely care, and there's no BS about it. You know, I'm not there for any other reason apart from generally having a caring aspect for these girls and their development, and every player that I work with. You know, it's not a matter of, you know, I've worked with this player, I've worked with that player, I've done this, I've done that. It's my focus is on the players, and if I see anything that can be attributed to their performance in a positive or a negative way, I want to maintain the positive aspect, and I want to learn from that negative aspect and explain it to them and see how we can learn from it and get around it so that we can, you know, shoot those lower scores. So that, you know, everyone knows there's not a big difference. You know, when you say it, there's not a big difference between an 80 and a 74 if you're on the golf course. It could just be a couple of bad decisions. But a lot of times people walk off the course and say, oh, you know what, I played terrible. That was shocking today. It's like, okay, well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How many shots did you hit? And you start going through the round of golf, and then you start thinking, you know, I actually played really well. I didn't play that bad. I didn't suck. My driver wasn't that bad. It was actually just a bad chip because of a lie that I didn't quite think well enough about, and it cost me 2 shots. And then that starts getting you on the bogey train, and you start losing your mind and your concentration a little bit. So, yeah, when I'm walking and watching the girls, I'll watch them from a distance and I'll watch them up close, because when I'm there, they may behave in one way, but I want to know what they are doing when I'm not, when they think I'm not there. So I'll watch them from a distance to see how they interact, and see how they interact with their parents as well, because everyone puts on a good show when someone's standing at the side of them.
Sure.
Well, what do you do when you don't think anyone's watching? You know, it's like tour players, you know, nobody truly knows what they're doing when they're out of the camera. You know, what are they doing in their spare time? What are they doing whilst they're training? How hard are they working? How hard are they working in the gym? Only a few people truly know that. So for me, I want to encompass everything for these girls. And, you know, if I see something that just makes a little bit of a difference, then that little bit of a difference can make 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, who knows? Because it can have that domino effect. And if we can pick up on that quickly, and if I can be a part of that, and I can be a part of their development, moving it in the right direction, that's what I truly care for. So, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Risky, that's not going to help your push slice.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. I'm coming out there, though, with you. I need you to give me a little lesson. He sucks at giving lessons.
Thanks, Risky. I appreciate that.
And that's why we have golfcritique.com, so you can find instructors.
No. Do we not need to remind you of your driver after I give you a little bit of a tip?
Yeah. You were like, do this, do that, stay there.
And I was like, oh, 50 shit. Yards further.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, that helped a little bit.
Exactly. So don't throw me under the bus.
Yeah,
that's cold-blooded.
There's a big bus coming there.
That is cold-blooded.
Well, he did it to me first, so I just got to get him back all the time.
Reciprocal.
Yeah. Well, I want to finish one question for you because you mentioned parents.
Yes.
And we talked about parents already a little bit, but specifically with your program, you got parents that hardly see them very often.
Yep. True.
And so what is the role of that parent if they decided to send their children or their young daughters to your school?
So with the current parents that we have it's all about communication within the support team. So communication with myself, communication with other coaches, strength and conditioning, mental, assistant coaches, and also the people that are in the office as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody can have an open line of communication and, say what is on their mind, because someone may have missed something.
Sure.
And that's what's great here is that we all, we're in an office here and we all sit, social distancing 6 feet at least apart. Right. But we're all always talking, we're always interacting with each other. We know what's going off at the earliest moment that it's going off.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for me, in my role is to, again, talk with the parents, communicate with them, answer anything that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say, why is my daughter not playing so well at the moment? I have the answer. I'm going to make sure I have the answer, because if I don't, then, I don't feel great within myself, because I want to help so much. So the role of the parent really is, it's a huge thing. They're giving away they're giving us their most prized possession in the world and saying, one, to look after them, and two, to help them.
Sure.
So,
and probably a big financial investment as well.
Yeah, it can be a big financial investment.
Room, board,
schooling and
everything,
and tuition, and the coaching aspect. Yeah, it's a big financial commitment. So, we take it very, very seriously, and that's why we communicate with the parents. That's why we use Coach Now, the app. Those guys have done a phenomenal job in making the lines of communication so much easier.
Yeah, very cool.
They've been around for a few years now, and I've used it for a few years, and it's been wonderful. So awesome. Any coaches that don't use it, I would definitely say use it. Again, I've got no affiliation.
No, that's fine. No, I love it.
Call a spade, and they do a great job. And that helps any parent that is 3,000 miles away, 4,000 miles away, 5,000, whatever it may be. They can see what their daughter is doing. Mm-hmm. As soon as it's posted.
Very cool.
They'll get notification, and it's great. So they know exactly what they're doing, so that the players have to also take accountability for their actions, so they can get given all the information that they need. So when someone goes to a normal coach and they get the information, it's like, okay, we can't expect that to work straight away. So you've got to put in the work. You've got to train hard for it. You've got to work it in on the range. By doing certain drills, certain challenges, whatever it may be, but also when you go home, you may have to do a series of exercises to try and improve a range of motion. If they haven't got a great range of motion in their right shoulder, and they can't shallow the club because they can't rotate it to a certain position, then in strength and conditioning, they've got to be working really, really hard. Because if I'm saying you've got to get that club to shallow by rotating in the shoulder, and they can't, then it's going to be very difficult to improve. So the use of that app is really just to help with the accountability of the player. And again, that communication with the parent is why it's so important. So that the parent knows, okay, I'm putting my daughter in this position. She's getting all this information, but one missing thing is just to take a little bit more accountability, or just to have a little bit more action. And again, it's being part of the support network. Yeah, this is crucial.
Yeah, and I think fitness is very important. Training is very important. For me, it's my right hip. As my doctor was like, you need to be doing exercise every day as much as you can.
Yeah, and you've been posting about those exercises every day on the gram, too.
I've been killing it. Killing it. I've been working hard. It's been tough, but...
He's about to blow up as a exercise influencer.
Definitely not doing
He's
that.
a fitness guru. You'll come out with a DVD next.
And honestly, I just really did it for motivation, because I know how much of a big difference it made in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it probably for 6 weeks now, probably 3 miles every day, combined with a workout. It takes me about an hour every day. Oof. And first, I do it 6 days a week. It's just kind of my morning routine now. And then and nutrition's big. I quit drinking soda a long time ago, almost 3 years now without a soda. And I don't take much dairy, but then I do like a protein shake in the morning. So I think about my nutrition as well. And it's phenomenal. It's been an amazing part of my life. And I talk about that on Instagram a little bit, but
yeah, nutrition, man, it's such an important part of it, of everything, of every aspect of training. And no matter what sport it is, that nutritional aspect. Yeah.
Well, I always say like one soda.
Nutrition is key.
One soda is how many calories? Like,
I don't even know.
It's the sugar content.
At least
It's
like
the sugar. Yeah.
250.
I think in a bottle of Coke, in a normal bottle of Coke, I think there's about 70 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which...
It's absurd.
It's insane.
It's unbelievable. It's frightening. And you know, if you take 70 grams of sugar, it doesn't seem like a lot when you're drinking it, but if you just got, 70 sachets of the sugars from a kind of cafe, just poured out 70 grams of sugar. I mean, you got yourself a neat pile of sugar there, and that's just going straight into your bloodstream. So,
yikes.
When I'm working with players on the course and we're looking at nutrition, when you say I try to give one of the girls some food on the golf course, it's like, I'm going to maintain levels of energy, and obviously staying away from the sugar stuff.
Yeah, I think that's important. And even with golfcritique.com, one really cool addition that we're making is we're actually adding training centers. And
awesome.
So this will be like the G2 Academy. You can put it on there, Smart Golf up in Chicago that we did. Just facilities that incorporate fitness, just lessons inside indoor facilities, anything to do with improvement of golf driving ranges. This is going to be a great new addition to golfcritique.com. And at the end of the day, we're just trying to be the best search engine in golf and figure out, hey, from a junior level to 80 years old, you can go to our site and figure out how to be better.
I think that's mission accomplished at the moment. I think you guys are really leading it for sure. And if you're incorporating something like fitness centers as well, I mean, that's overall well-being of the human.
Exactly.
So, and if we take it out of the context of golf, I know we're talking golf, but if we take it out of the context of golf and just talking about the well-being of an individual, that's huge.
Yeah, and even on our instructor side, if you're a golf fitness instructor, if you're a TPI guy, if you have your own program that you're developing, please bring your instruction to, or bring your training to golfcritique.com. We'll list you as a fitness trainer. We'll put your facility on. Whatever we can do to create the best search engine in golf that can, anywhere in the area, you just put your zip code in, you put your location in, and it'll bring up everybody. So at the end of the day, we're just trying to make this game better. We're trying to make more people more accessible, let them learn. I mean, you're an awesome guy. I've never even met you before today. And if I didn't know you now, I wouldn't know anything about you. But if they went to golfcritique.com, you're soon going to be on golfcritique.com.
Yeah, I just need to get a few good photos. I don't photograph very well.
You're a pretty good looking guy, so I think it'll be fine.
I need to get some good photos, and then I'll be on there. And I'll definitely put, obviously with the G2 Academy and everything that we do, and our training program as well. The training program that we do is really superb, actually. So I'm not just saying that because I'm here, but it really is superb.
No, and we can't wait to see it. I mean, and the great thing about that is you can put videos on, and they can be able to see videos and actually what you're doing. And that's really an important part, is getting to know you, learn how you teach. Yeah. Those are, me personally, I think that's instrumental. People learn differently. So it's good to match that learning style up with your instructor.
Correct. Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for people is, when they're working with somebody, is just to know that individual is sincere. It's like everything you do in life. If you go to a restaurant tonight in Old Town Bluffton and you have a server, if you get the impression that they generally care about what you're doing, you're going to have a better night. So having a coach that you can really get a good review off from golfcritique.com and get a good idea of who that person is, I think is really, really pivotal. And it encourages people to stay in the game longer and enjoy it more and play more, and just
that's why it's the best game on the planet.
It is. It's why it keeps us coming back. Going back to a story, I remember one of the best things I ever saw. I talk about a club throw. So, talking about a club throw, I've got three stories actually. One story is when I was back in England. I turned professional and I was working at a golf course, and we had one gentleman who was a 94-year-old guy, Really competitive. Actually played professional tennis. I was actually one of the first people to wear white shorts at Wimbledon.
Wow.
Right. 94 years old, had shot his age at 70, 75, 80, 85, and he was really gunning to try and shoot his age at 90. And I remember just going out with him one time on the golf course, and he hit a driver, and it didn't go very far, not as far as he wanted to. And he just, 94-year-old man launching his club down the fairway
See, I don't feel bad anymore.
was awesome.
No, he said launched it. The guy didn't break his club.
Love it.
He was so competitive at that age, and this is what this game does to us. It hooks us, it keeps us engaged, and it is such an addictive sport. And then
It really is.
another one was when I was down in Florida. There was I was standing on the tee with a couple of coaches, and just in front of it, we were just about to get some of our players off, and just standing in front of us, there was a 3-ball. And in the 3-ball was a 93, 95, and 97-year-old veterans. And the 95-year-old veteran had one arm. So we're standing there and we're watching these 3 guys go out, and we're saying, golf has got this old man stigma about it. That was one of the greatest things that I'd ever seen playing golf and being part of. 3 veterans, 93, 95, 97, one-armed 95-year-old. The next day, the 95-year-old one-armed veteran went out with his great-great-grandson, who was 5, both on one cart, playing the front tees. The one-armed veteran hit his tee shot. His great-great-grandson got up, hit another tee shot. You've got such a generational game of golf there, and it was extremely humbling. As to what this game can create and the environment it can create.
Absolutely.
So, so many stories and so many great things about this sport. And again, that's what keeps us coming back, and that's what keeps me wanting to learn and keeps me wanting to create more memories for that type of aspect for the players that I work with. If I can keep someone playing for 50, 60, 70 years, 80 years, awesome. If I can help some of my girls get on the tour, awesome. That's my goal.
That's awesome.
So,
and it keeps you young.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lifetime sport. I don't know if it'll keep you young, but it'll keep you active.
Well, think about the brain. I mean, your brain's actively, that's why, in my opinion, that's why old people die. Because the brain gets slow, and they just, that's why people, love sick, or what do they call that? You just the
game,
just die.
The game might give
You gotta stay active. You gotta stay mind active.
The game might give us more grey hairs because of the stress, but it will definitely keep us active for longer, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it's wonderful. And like I say, everything that we do is always for the player.
Good stuff.
You got to decide everyone, help everybody, be good to people, help them as much as possible.
Oh, good stuff.
That's awesome. Well, Golf Nation.
I've got another story, but I'll probably tell you off air. It was when I was in Austria, but it was a good one.
Yeah.
We'll put that on the gram if it's a good story.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. Yeah, we did a lot. That's good. This is our longest one, but a lot of great information, a lot of good conversation. Really appreciate being here. But
thank you.
Make sure you check out the show on Golf Hub. If you're not watching it there right now, you definitely should be. You can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram as @GolfNationPodcast, and on Facebook and Twitter as @GolfNationPod. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments for the show or Jeremy and myself, send us a DM on social media or email us at info@golfcritique.com, and it'll go straight to me. That's all I got for him, Jay.
Alrighty. Well, Dan, really appreciate it. This is you got a phenomenal facility. You got a phenomenal academy. I think what you guys are doing for especially young ladies, girl dad, all the girl dads out there. I know that means a lot. Your demeanor is amazing. I can tell why you're very successful in what you do, and I look forward to keeping in touch and seeing your growth and see how far you go here in the U.S.
I tend to, like I say, keep a kind of a low profile and just kind of go about my daily business on the down low. I'm always talking to more well-known coaches and asking for their opinions and views. Again, as a coach wanting to learn, but also to help the girls that I work with. So, I want to thank you guys for letting me come on here and coming down to Bluffton as well.
Absolutely. Give the listeners something if they want to interested in the academy, if they want to send their daughters there. How do they get in touch with you guys?
They can go online at g2academy.com.
Okay.
And if they want to follow it, they can go on Instagram as well and search for the G2 Academy, and they'll see all the posts that we put up there. They can also follow me, Dan Jackson Golf, on Instagram as well. I need to increase my social media presence
I'm
as
with
well.
you. I'm trying to do the same, my friend.
My wife's always telling me, I need to do more. She's always saying I need to do more, and I do. There's some guys out there that do a very good job on social media.
I know.
And I just need to get it out there a little bit more. So again, the more I can do to help grow the game, to help grow the opportunities that girls have.
Yep.
As many doors as we can open for them, as many opportunities that we can give them, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, looking forward to seeing you on golfcritique.com.
Thank you.
And as always, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another great episode. We'll probably be back in Pinehurst next week.
I believe so, yeah.
Yep. And so until then, and learn as much as you can. Live your life to the fullest. Play golf forever. I'm Jeremy Lee. For Risky and for Dan, this is Golf Nation Podcast. We'll see you on the tee.
Awesome.